Hey, how's it going? It's been quite a while since I last did a vlog, especially here on MGF Extra. I mean, I posted an unboxing video on my main channel recently, which we'll talk about in a second, which I didn't really consider a vlog per se. So, yeah, it's been a while. I make no excuses. This is just a channel that I neglect, and I mean, regretfully so. It's just a matter of and I think I've said this before. I mean, I doubt anyone would remember, but just whenever the thought arises that hey, I should do a vlog, I just I guess this is me making excuses, but more so explaining. I just basically think of yeah, but I also need to do this, and then I do something else. Vlog never gets done. I did put together a whole bullet points list, and I was going to vlog during I think New York Comic Con or something. That was the closest I came to vlogging. Anyway, so there's so much I could talk about in pop culture and in life, in so everything that's going on, just generally. But I decided I'm going to condense this down to just the future of the channel, the figures that I'm currently working on, what the end of the year is going to look like, what the start of the year is going to look like, all that stuff, and the custom minifigures you can expect, and also that right there, PlayStation 4, Red Dead 2, and Spider-Man PS4, which has been, those two games have been consuming my time. But before I start discussing that, I do want to bring up some changes that I am considering making to the showcases that have been basically meant to keep the channel going, or I guess just custom minifigures for me to make until the end of the year, because obviously a lot of the figures I make have focused primarily on things that are coming out, things I'm excited for, and then I announced that I will be making celebratory showcases for the 10th anniversaries of the Clone Wars and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which we're celebrating both of those this year. And of course, I just posted the Iron Man Mark One showcase since I last vlogged, which is crazy because that was a while ago. And then I also did the showcase for Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, who are down here. And they turned out fantastic, all four of those figures. And so I'm already kind of well into this list here. And my buddy Andrew over at AV Figures is already done with Captain Rex, practically done with Commander Cody and Commander Blind. He's about to do fives. And so his showcase is going to be coming up pretty soon. And he is doing the clones completely. And that's why it's a collaboration series of figures. So he's handling the clones and I'm handling the rest. And then, of course, Captain America is the figure that I'm working on right now. I just posted a quick preview of this on my Instagram story recently. And so basically what I'm considering doing, and this loops back into the conversation about that I want, this loops back into the PS4 and, Red Dead 2 and Spider-Man. So basically, when I made these lists, I was being conservative, meaning I knew that I did not want to stack on too many characters, and I really wanted to prioritize those who are the characters that were really important to me. And that's why Commander Bly is on there, by the way, because if you dig back in the archive of my channel, you'll see I made Commander Bly when I was a kid with Sharpies, paint, and decals many times. He was my favorite clone commander, from I want to say 2009 to 2000. I don't know, 13, maybe 12. But point is, even though I made these lists and I was being, super conservative about the choices that I made, what I did not account for was how amazing Red Dead Redemption 2 and Spider-Man PS4 were actually going to be. And I had an inclination that they would be, but in getting the PS4, I mean, that was pretty much why I got the PS4, because I pretty much did know that Spider-Man was going to be incredible based on the walkthrough that I saw. I saw an hour of the game before finally deciding to get it. And if you don't know, I held off on getting the PlayStation 4 for a long time. I was at first going to get one in 2016 when Uncharted 4 dropped, and then I just held off and never did it, never went through with it, because they're not cheap. And so finally, when Spider-Man PS4 dropped, that's when I knew, okay, it's time to be the bridge between two peoples, as I said in my super awkward yet super fun unboxing video that I posted. And so I did not account for how amazing these two games would be. And like I said, they've been consuming a lot of my time since the Thursday before last. So it would have been October 25th, but then I didn't really actually start playing until the 26th, the next day. And I've been playing those two titles regularly since. And I mean, daily. I got through the Spider-Man PS4 campaign in about 3 days, and now there's still tons and tons of stuff all over New York for me left to do. You know, bases to raid, research labs to search, you know, all kinds of side quests that they have still available all throughout the city, so that you can keep being Spidey for, you know, pretty much into the foreseeable future, even after the main story. And then I had started Red Dead 2 first. That was the first game I played of the two. And so I pretty much primarily focused on Spider-Man after, you know, in between the two games. Like I was playing Red Dead 2 a little bit, primarily focused on Spider-Man, got through the main story of Spider-Man. I'll be still playing Spider-Man, you know, just on and off though, to wrap up the rest of the you know, the like couple hundred things left to do in the city. I think it's quite a bit that's still left. That's probably a little bit of a high number. Point is, after that was done, I shifted all the focus, obviously, to Red Dead 2. And to those of you who never really played a free roam single player developed by Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto 5 would be the most recent. So if you actually have played Grand Theft Auto, you know how big the map is. If you play the single player, you know how detailed the story is. You know how lengthy the story is. Rockstar Games has been developing Red Dead Redemption 2 for not 5 years, not 6 years, for 8 years. It is a technical masterpiece. It is, I mean, the narrative is a masterpiece, especially if you are familiar with the characters from the first game. I mean, the world is it feels limitless. I mean, and the level of detail that goes into every single part of the map and every single thing with each character. I mean, it is not something that can be explained. You have to watch, you know, if you don't play it yourself, you have to watch tons of videos to truly understand the grand scope of Red Dead Redemption 2. It is far greater of a game in terms of scale and I would honestly say characters too, to some extent, than Grand Theft Auto 5 was. And I mean, it was something I was expecting to be overwhelmed by the game, and I certainly was. I picked it up and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This game, you have to focus on daily tasks. You have to feed yourself. You have to feed your horse. You have to, you know, take care of the camp. You have to do all these things. Turns out it's a lot. It was none of that was a big deal at all, and I was able to really just explore the world and focus on the main story, and it's been great ever since, and has been one of the greatest experiences that I've had as a gamer. And I'm obviously more of a casual gamer, always have been, but the point of this whole conversation is, one, in just 1 month, 1 week, a little over a week, I have experienced 2 games that have far surpassed any game that I have played since Grand Theft Auto 5. There are certain memories that I have that really just stick out as the best experiences I've had playing a game. And nothing sticks out. Not Call of Duty World War II, not, you know, any game. And I just say that off the top of my head to just kind of give you an idea of games that I've played, you know, any of the Black Ops games, you know, any game that has come out recently. Nothing has compared to Grand Theft Auto 5's campaign until Red Dead Redemption 2 and Spider-Man PS4. So, I mean, just kind of combing through my games here. I mean, like Battlefront 2015 was pretty great. Battlefront 2 was disappointing because of all the controversy. Barely played Titanfall 2, regrettably. I mean, nothing here. Destiny 2 was all right. Nothing here really compared to how amazing the single player was for Grand Theft Auto 5. So what I'm saying is, because these 2 games now mean so much to me so quickly in just a little over a week and a half, because they were everything I was hoping for and more. And now I'm at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2's story. I'm about to wrap it up. I'm in the final missions, the final story missions, and my God. I mean, seriously, I know I've been going on and on, but you really have to play it for yourself. It is not an experience that you want to skip out on. This is not something you want to miss. And so, because I really haven't been gaming at all this year, really that much, period, I decided to just go all in on these two games now that I have the PS4, and to just get through the story for both of these incredible open world games, and then, just casually wrap up the rest of the side missions and quests and, things to do throughout the free roam worlds on both games, over time. And but now that I'm so in love with both of these games, they're two of my favorite games of all time that I've now experienced in just a week and a half. I look at this list of all the figures that I was hoping to make for the MCU 10 years. And it says all custom minifigures on this list are subject to change for a reason. Because I knew I didn't account for how amazing these two games would be. But I knew things could change. I knew, I would fall behind. I knew that, this wouldn't necessarily work out exactly how I would want it to, because that's usually how it goes. But, so what I decided to do, and what I think I'm going to do now, is I'm just pulling up my roadmap for all of my custom minifigures. I actually have this in a text file that is available over on my Patreon. You can see, or I can see, that figure. I mean, this is all, the Aquaman figures I was planning on making. I guess this is kind of an Aquaman announcement to an extent, but also kind of disappointing at the same time. I had everything already publicly announced aside from the Aquaman figures in December. And so originally I was hoping to make for Aquaman, obviously Arthur Curry, Aquaman, Mera, Ocean Master, Orm, and Black Manta to celebrate Aquaman's release in December. But if I'm going to do the rest of these Clone Wars figures, MCU 10 years figures, and then Aquaman, that's already too much for 2 months. Even with Andrew making the 4 clone troopers, that's still a lot of figures to make, especially with, how detailed just Cap is and Red Skull from the first Avenger already, as I'm looking at reference now. So the idea is, and now that I've waited 12 minutes to finally reveal this, thank you for being here. I think I'm going to cut out Mera and Ocean Master indefinitely. And then I say indefinitely because there's still, of course, a chance that I'll make them sometime in 2019. And then the Iron Man Mark 42 and Iron Patriot remakes permanently. So I'm pretty much decided now that even though Iron Man 3 was on this list right there, it said Mark 43 because that was an error in the original post, but the Mark 42 and the Iron Patriot suit, as cool as it would be to go back and revisit those, considering that was my first blowout showcase that really experienced a massive amount of success, I would say I value Iron Man 3 as a movie the least out of all the films that I would be making figures for here, just, to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the MCU. So I'm most comfortable with cutting those two figures out. And so that's what I think I'm going to do. I think I apologize for pointing the camera down so low for most of this vlog. And also to those of you guys who wanted to see a Mark 42 and Iron Patriot from that list, and maybe even a custom Mera and Ocean Master from me sometime in December over the winter, apologize. But to me, what matters more is making Arthur Morgan from Red Dead Redemption 2 and the advanced suit from Spider-Man PS4. Even though I didn't actually wear the advanced suit through my playthrough, I actually wore the Tom Holland Spidey suit as soon as I got it for like 2/3 of my playthrough of the story, and then the Iron Spider suit for the end. And yeah, that was an incredible ride, and Red Dead Redemption 2 has been one of my all-time favorite experiences in gaming thus far, and so making those two matters more to me than making the Mark 42, Iron Patriot, Mera, or Ocean Master. And I'm cutting out Mera and Ocean Master because I think those two, when you think of the characters in Aquaman, personally, I just automatically think of Arthur and Black Manta. Those are the two figures I know I will make and I want to make, whereas Mera and Ocean Master I would love to make. They're less important to me, and I think can wait until sometime later in 2019. I don't know when, because the first The first half of the year is going to be filled with Avengers 4, and very much like Infinity War, going to be doing a making of series, just like I did for Infinity War. And then I'll also be doing Spider-Man Far From Home, and everything else that's dropping in 2019. Not sure where the additional Aquaman figures would fall in place, but I mean, if anything has shown this year, I have gone back to make figures for Black Panther, and that is likely what I may also do for Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel, very much like Black Panther, will be made for Avengers 4 in the same way that I made Black Panther for Infinity War. But because Black Panther came out before Infinity War, I prioritized him, showcased him to celebrate the release of his solo movie, and I'll be doing the same exact thing for Captain Marvel next year if all of this goes according to plan. But this is what I'm hoping to do. These are the changes that I'm making to the roster, and those are the reasons that I got a PS4 and why I loved and have enjoyed and still really enjoying these two incredible games by these amazing developers. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 became the second highest grossing entertainment product in history, and like it's for the record of like the first few days. I forget what the exact record was, but Rockstar just continuing to make stupid money, because I think in a lot of ways they deserve it. So anyway, yeah, that is it for this vlog. There's a mountain load of other things I could talk about. Probably gonna wrap up Red Dead Redemption 2 once and for all here tonight. Maybe, hopefully, possibly, probably not. And then also I'm considering maybe watching the latest episode of Titans, which has been a thing and has not been as bad as I thought it was going to be, but is definitely geared toward a very specific audience, I would say. So either way, I don't know why I said either way. I do that a lot as a transitionary phrase. I'm going to go. Okay. It's 1 a.m. Okay, bye.